Hey everybody, what's going on? What's happening? It's just your girl Shy, and I am back with another video today. So, as I promised, I'm going to be consistent with the content that I'm giving to you all because I'm very big on my channel growing and expanding continuously. I want this to be a fun page, and yeah, so this video is going to be kind of different today. As you all can see, I have some salmon right here. So I'm going to be cooking some dinner while I give you all a story time. So right now my children, they are at Boys and Girls Club. So I just want to make sure they have them something good to eat when they get home. So I have some salmon that I'm going to be making. I'm also going to be making some asparagus, and I'm going to be making some homemade mashed potatoes with the red potatoes. So yeah, let's get into it. So the story time. So the story time that I'm going to be giving you all today is going to be a story about Robert the dog. I'm not sure if you all have ever heard of Robert the dog or not, but Robert the dog is a hunted dog, and he is in a museum located in Key West, Florida. And inside this video, I'm going to insert a clip so you all can just get a little backstory about who Robert is, or what Robert is, and you all can be able to follow along. So yes, Robert the dog is a hunted dog, and he is in Key West, Florida. And I'm just going to tell you all about the story of how I personally encountered Robert the dog. And I'm going to also insert clips of myself in Key West at the time. I think this was about 8 years ago. So it was like in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. It was in 2016 or yes, it was in 2016 or 17, if I'm not mistaken. And my son's dad, we were together at the time, and his dad and we did a lot of traveling. So we just do like random, last minute, spur of the moment type of trips. Like we just randomly go to the airport, and we'd go to the airport and just like look at the board and be like, all right, where you want to go today? Where you trying to go today? So that was the case on that day. It wasn't any special occasion or anything. We just wanted to go out and do something fun, catch a flight. At this time, I think I was like 21. I was like 21, or probably between 21 or 22, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like I was 21. So we went to the airport, and he's like, which flight do you, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go? So I told him, I'd like to go to West Palm Beach. So we checked the weather for West Palm Beach, and West Palm Beach, it was raining. So due to it raining in West Palm Beach, I ended up having to choose somewhere else. So he's like, where else would you want to go? So I'm like, okay, we can go to Key West, because me personally, I just want to go to the beach. I love going to the beach. I love getting in the water. So I'm like, let's just go to Key West. So we ended up getting on a flight, and we ended up going to Key West, Florida. This was my first time ever in Key West. We caught a plane. I think on this trip we actually rode business class. So that was my first experience doing that, and it was like on a little small jet. So that was pretty cool. And we ended up getting off the plane, but it wasn't like at the average airport where they'll pull the, what is it called, the jet bridge to the plane. It wasn't like that. Like, they pulled up some stairs to the plane, and then we ended up getting off of the stairs, and then we had to walk to like a door into the airport. It was very different. Like, that was my first and only experience I've ever had like that in regards to catching a flight and you know, being at the airport. So we ended up catching a flight to Key West, and then we had to find us a hotel. So 9 times out of 10, when you're traveling and you're looking for somewhere to stay, it's going to be a lot of hotels close to the airport, because they know, you know, people traveling are looking for somewhere to stay. So that's, you know, the way they get their business. So yeah, we ended up going to the was it, I'm not sure. I don't even remember the name of the hotel. I'm not even gonna pretend as if I do, because I don't. But yeah, we ended up getting us a room. We only stayed for like a day or two, if I'm not mistaken. So when we got there, his dad was tired, so we ended up taking a nap. But I don't think the flight was that long. But he had just got off a flight, and then he had came home, and then we went and we got on the flight together. So he had just did quite a bit of flying. So he wanted to take a nap. So we took a nap. And then once we woke up, we was trying to decide what we were going to eat. Like, what are we going to eat? Because we were hungry. So we were like, let's just it was a place that we had seen when we had, I'm not sure we called an Uber or a taxi. Okay, because one thing that I learned about Key West, you all, Key West is like an island, okay? So Key West is like really small. It's a little small place. It's not, you know, it's off to like itself. So it's really an island. And when you go to Key West, so it's like everything is kind of like, it's not too far apart, especially like for tourist purposes, like, you know. So we left outside of the hotel and we walked the whole time. Like matter of fact, I think we walked from the airport. Yeah, we walked from the airport. So we ended up walking from the airport to the hotel. Everything was just so close. And we left the hotel and we were walking down the street.
You know, basically, when I go places, take good pictures.
Because it was like some places we had seen earlier when we were walking from the airport. So yeah, we were walking down the street, and like the water in Key West is so clear. Like, it's really pretty clear and it's blue. Key West has like a lot of animals outside. Like they have a lot of crabs walking down the street. They have a lot of like iguanas and stuff like that. Oh shit. And yeah, we were walking down the street and I just heard the sound of like something like cracking or something like that. And then I looked down, it was a little crab just walking down the street casually.
Y'all, this crowd is just walking down the street. Oh my God.
So it was so funny to me and it was so cute. But yeah, so we had ended up finding this little cool little nice place along the beach, and it was like a little restaurant inside of a house, and they had like upstairs, downstairs. It was a nice size little big house. And we went inside of the restaurant, we sat down, we ate food, we had a drink. I think we had like some wine or something like that. It was like one of those places, like kind of like upscale. They didn't have like, you know, just all type of options of drinks like margaritas and stuff like that. They just had like wine and beer, if I'm not mistaken. So let me let y'all get into the salmon. Got it seasoned real nice. Got some lemon on top, put some honey on it with some butter. And that's how I like to do my salmon. And we have the oven preheating, and I have it on 350. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my potatoes because the asparagus is pretty quick. So I'm gonna save that for last. Okay, so let me get a pot for my potatoes. Okay, yeah, so we ended up going out to eat. We ended up going out to eat, and we had some food, had some drinks, and we were just vibing. It's just, you know, a little light chill type of eating. Okay, y'all, so I'm just rinsing the potatoes off right now. I'm trying to see if I have enough. I feel like I should be adding more potatoes. Yeah, I think I should add like 2 more potatoes. Y'all, I made really good homemade mashed potatoes. I learned it from my mom because she makes really good homemade mashed potatoes as well. So I'm ready for y'all to get into it. I don't really like the instant mashed potatoes. They don't do me any justice. So yeah, we had landed around probably 2 p.m. 2 or 3. So when we had woke up from the nap and went and eat, by the time we left, it was about 7 o'clock. So we ended up stopping at the beach, and we, you know, walked through the beach and stuff.
You got algae in the
And it was really fun. Like it was really nice. Like it was a real nice vibe. And we just talked and walked barefooted in the sand. And as we were walking back to our hotel, we had noticed that it was a building, and it was a picture of a doll on the outside of the building. And I'm like, what is that about? Like, why is this picture of this doll on the outside of the building? So I ended up looking it up once we got back to the hotel room to see what it was. And turns out it was a museum. And the museum was like an old fort that was built during the war. I'm not sure which war it was, but yeah, it was an old fort. And it was a museum that people come and see and visit to you know, check it out. It was like a war zone in Key West, obviously. So I kept looking because I'm like, okay, well, what does the doll have to do with the fort or whatever? And the doll's name was Robert, and they were saying something about it was a hunted doll. So I go on YouTube and stuff, And I start, looking more into it because I'm like, I'm intrigued, And we end up finding out that this doll is what inspired the seed of Chucky. So the seed of Chucky, y'all, I don't even have to cut these things up this little, for real. Like, I don't even know, like this, I don't even know why I'm cutting it up that little. It doesn't have to be little, like pieces that little. A lot of times I like to make like potatoes. That's like with my breakfast, that's usually the size I cut it. And with me telling the story, I just kind of got a little sidetracked. But yeah, the pieces definitely don't have to be cut that little. But yeah, so I was looking into the doll, and I seen that Seed of Chucky, the movie, was inspired by Robert the doll. Just like Annabelle was inspired by the doll Annabelle, Seed of Chucky was inspired by Robert. And I'm like, once I finished doing my research and stuff, I looked at my son's dad and I'm like, you wanna go? Because it's right there, like it was in walking distance. So initially he was like, heck nah, I'm not trying to go and see no no hunted dog. Like you tripping. And I'm like, come on, let's just go. Like, it's right there. It's walking distance. Like, we can literally go before we, we can go before we catch our flight. Because we had a flight at like, we had a flight at like 12 o'clock or something like that. And the museum opened at like 9:30 or 10. And like I said, y'all, the airport was right there. So everything was walking distance. So at first he was against it. He really didn't want to go. And it took some convincing. And he was like, all right, we can go. So once the next day came, we checked out and we went to the museum. And at first, like when you come in, it shows like a gift shop and stuff like that. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and put the salmon into the oven. I forgot to buy aluminum foil when I just went to Family Dollar. So, I'm gonna just place this on top. And it's gonna still get the job done. Okay. That's a little hack if y'all don't know. I put my salmon in for like 30 to 35 minutes. Because it doesn't take long. Okay, I don't know if y'all use timers, but I need my timer because I get a little sidetracked and distracted. And I'll be so upset if my salmon was burnt. I'd be very upset about it. I love salmon. That's my favorite food. I can cook salmon all day. So yeah, we ended up going to the museum, and when you walk in, you realize like it's a gift shop, and they have like little Robert keychains and stuff like that. So when we went, we decided that that was going to be the last thing that we did to see Robert. I'm not gonna lie, the energy, it was very weary. Like, the more that we seen everything and the closer that we got to being towards the end, the more anxious I got. It was other people there as well. And it was even people there with their kids. I'm like, ooh, okay. So, in the fort, it's like, you get to see like where they, went to war and stuff like that. Like, it was like, you get to see where they like peek out and stuff. Like, it was pretty decent, for educational purposes. I'm not really sure, like, I feel like Robert is the real attraction of this place. I feel like that's when these people really start getting the serious attraction, outside of people who are really interested in war and history and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's just really random how he ended up there as well. So, yeah, we ended up making our way to Robert. And around Robert, they have like they have like letters and stuff from the president of the United States at the time. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Bush who wrote a letter to Robert the dog. I'm not sure how these people have time out of the day or what was the purpose of writing the letter to Robert the dog. I don't know, but they were writing him letters, and it was saying that they had like disclaimers and messages letting you know that you're not supposed to take a picture of the dog without asking the dog for permission. And I'm like, we're here, like we have to take a picture of the dog. Like, so if we tell somebody that we came to see the dog, then we can have a picture to show. Like, it only makes sense. Like, we got to take a picture. So my son's dad, he's like, hell no. Now, you know, I already got me to come here against my will. I'm not finna be taking no pictures. I'm not finna be taking no pictures of this dog, with this dog. I'm not doing none of that. So I'm like, all right. So I'm looking around and I see like they have the dog in a cage. Well, the dog is in a clear container, concealed, and is sitting in a chair, and he has on a sailor outfit, and he has a little puppy dog in his arm. And around the container that he's in, there's like a little digital screen, and it has I need to start doing all the hand motions with this knife in my hand, but it's a digital screen, and it has like messages and letters, like apology letters from different people. So yeah, like different people were apologizing to the dog for taking pictures of him without his consent. Because they're like, you have to take a picture of the dog. I mean, you have to ask for permission before taking a picture. And I'm like, well, how do you know if he said yes or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really confused about that part. So I did ask for permission. Like, I asked for his blessing to take a picture with him. I took a picture of him and I took a picture with him. And I asked him for his blessing, and nothing happened. Like, they I don't know. I guess they told you something about how you're supposed to, like, an indication of if he said yes or no, but I didn't sense it. So I was just like, okay, I asked for permission. I did my part, so I'm going to take a picture with him. So we ended up, I ended up asking my son's dad if he could at least take the picture of me and Robert the dog, since he didn't want to take a picture of it or with it. So he agreed to do that. And I took a picture of the dog. Once I took a picture of the dog, we ended up going to the airport. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was a little nervous to catch that flight, because like, you just, all right, y'all, so I'm rinsing off my potatoes again, even though I rinsed them off before I had started cooking. I mean, before I started cutting them, to rinse them off again. Make sure they're nice and clean. Just letting my water come to a boil. And I'm gonna tighten up a little bit before tighten up a little bit before I'm done cooking. Okay, y'all, so yes, we ended up going to the airport. We almost missed our flight too, but we ended up making our flight, and we ended up making our flight, and we went home, and everything was good for the most part. Okay, so I'm gonna put the potatoes in the water. So they can boil. Usually after like 20 to 25 minutes, the potatoes are good and ready to be taken out. Is this the right lid? This is the right lid. put that lid on there. Gonna let that cook. Okay, y'all. So we ended up getting off our plane and we were home, and we just went back to our regular schedules. Like, I really didn't too much think about the whole Robert situation after that. We just went back to our day-to-day lives. Yeah, I was working at the airport at the time, and I was working at the airport at the time, and I got caught in a different atrium. I was a team lead, and I got caught in a different atrium because I was going to eat food in a different atrium. I was honestly going to eat food with my son's dad. I used to try and go and eat my lunch with him if we had lunch at the same time, but we worked for two different companies. So and I was the team lead, so I had the phone that got all the leads for the planes and stuff like that, for when our planes were coming, what time we need to be on, what time we need to be off, how much time we had, like what kind of plane it was, all that information. So we were advised to stay on our atriums during lunchtime because it was, important for us to be on the planes when we needed to be on the planes, and off when we need to be off, or Delta would be marked for a delay. And if there was any delays, then it'll be, if Delta is taking a hit, then, whoever is responsible is going to take a hit as well. So, yeah, I was headed back to my atrium. This was something that I did all the time. Everybody who worked for the company that I worked for, we did it all the time. So I ended up calling a friend who worked with me, and usually you can catch you have to catch the jet train back to your atrium unless you were driving. So I had a coworker who was driving at the time. They were a team lead. They were a driving lead. I was a walking lead. So I had called my friend that was a driving lead, and I'm like, hey, can you come and pick me up and take me back to the atrium? I think I had went to T, but I was supposed to be on A. So I ended up walking outside to meet my coworker, and before my coworker got to get there, I ran into our general manager, and I'm like, okay. So he's like, aren't you a lead? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, y'all have a plane right now that's landed in such and such and such. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I ended up he ended up dropping me back off to my gate. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, I hope I don't get into any trouble. I hope this man doesn't fire me. So I ended up so he ended up dropping me back off to he dropped me off to my gate where my plane was, and my team was already on the plane. Bad business. So I get on the plane, I'm with my team, we doing what we need to do, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is not good. Like, I'm just nervous, I'm just wondering, worried in my head the whole time, like, what's gonna happen? Like, like, is this man gonna fire me? Is he just gonna give me a write-up? Is he gonna give me a pass? Because, it just wasn't a good situation, and it just wasn't looking good for me. Y'all, this is my little kitten. Her name is Stormy. Say, hey, Stormy. This is our new kitten. I call her Purriana. But yes, I was just wondering the whole time, like, what's going to happen? Like, and I ended up, at the end of the day, we used to always have to go to B2. And B2 is where you clock in and you get assigned your teams and stuff like that. And that's where you catch the shuttle bus that takes you to the concourses. I keep saying atrium. Concourses. So I ended up going, and I was gonna clock out, and my supervisor, she called me over, and she was letting me know that they let me go. So then there was another situation where I had an important job interview coming up, and I just so happened to misplace my purse somewhere. Like I lost my purse with like all of my personal information in it, like everything. And I'm just like, oh my God, it couldn't be a more worse time for this to happen, because I have things to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to get this new job. I done got fired. You know, like I have a daughter. I was a mom at the time, a single mom. I had my little girl, and it's like I need some money. Like I gotta make something shake. So I ended up missing the job interview because yeah, I lost everything, like my ID, my personal information. Like I had to, like my debit cards, like I literally had to cancel everything out. I had to reorder everything. I had to get everything remailed. Like I had to buy another ID. It was just really crazy. It was really crazy. And then like 2 weeks later, I was at home or whatever, and I was going to go over to my son's dad house over there to spend some time with him. So he was at work and he had let his brother keep his car. So he had his brother come and pick me up, and we were going to go and pick him up. So the brother came, he picked me up. We were really cool. You know, me and his brother, we were really cool. We had a really good rapport. So, you know, and he's come and picked me up before. So his brother came and picked me up, and we got onto the expressway. We were on the expressway, and his brother we was on the expressway. We was like halfway to our destination, just vibing, listening to music and stuff, talking. And then his brother ended up getting over, and he didn't see a car on his blind side. It was a black truck. Next thing you know, the truck hit us like from the back, and it pushed us like over this way. We were in the lane we was in the lane the furthest right, the slow lane, and he was trying to get over, and he didn't see the car on his blind side. So the truck ended up hitting us back over to that right lane furthest to the right. But somehow the car ended up hydroplaning, and we ended up going off the expressway. We ended up steering off the expressway, and we were like going down like into like the woods. Like, you know how on the side of the expressway it's a whole bunch of trees and stuff. That's how a lot of deers get hit, because they just wander out of the woods. So yeah, we ended up going like down, and it was trees and everything, and his brother is like still steering the car. And by the grace of God, like he was real quick on his feet, and we ended up missing a tree, and then the car just stopped. And his brother had broke his finger. I had like hurt my rib, and I had hurt my toe, but it wasn't nothing like no major injuries or anything like that. The other car was perfectly fine. Nothing even happened with the other car. The car that we were in, my son's dad car, it was totaled. Like it was over with. It was nothing that could have been done about it. And yeah, so we ended up having to call the police and all of that stuff. Like the car was so bad, the airbags deployed, like the front of the car was like smushed in, the trunk of the car was like on the ground. Like it was so crazy, it was so scary. That was the first car accident I had ever been in. It was so traumatic, it traumatized me, and I just didn't want to ride on the expressway again. Like it took me about a year or two to start driving on the expressway once I learned how to drive myself, because it was just so traumatizing. Like, and I only felt comfortable, you know, riding with a few people. I'm just like, what's going on? And then I remembered I remembered, like, y'all, I was not thinking nothing about this doll. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, could it be the doll? Like, is that real? Like, so it just really tripped me out, y'all, because it's like all of these events just started taking place after I done went and seen this doll, after I done took this picture with this doll. So I was talking to my son's dad, and I'm like, do you think it's because of the doll that all of this stuff just happened? Like, I've been getting all this bad luck, because it's just not making sense, and it's just like back to back to back. And like, you know, I'm really not too much of a superstitious person, which is why I wanted to go. Like, I don't know, I didn't really take it that serious or think it was that serious, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It could have very well been Robert the dog that caused me to have all these series of events, because I took the picture, but I asked for permission, so I figured it'll be fine. But yeah, stuff started happening after visiting Robert the dog. And I don't know, you guys comment down below. You tell me, is it like far-fetched, like, or do y'all think that's something that's possible? It was a lesson learned for me, you know, and I immediately went into my phone and I deleted those pictures of Robert out of my phone. So no, I will not have like the pictures that I took with him, because it freaked me out so bad. Like, I was just having bad luck. I just prayed about it. I did not write Robert any letters. No, I did not write Robert any letters. I just prayed about it, you know, because I feel like, you know, God was the only one that could fix it. Okay, y'all, so this is how I check the potatoes. I see how easy it is for a fork to go through it. And then that is how I know that the potatoes are done, if the fork goes through the potatoes easily. And yeah, these potatoes are done. All right, y'all, so this is what I like to do when the potatoes are done. Like, you can just like smash them down, just mash it up with a fork. When they're soft, it'll mash it up pretty easily. Smash it down. And being that they're red skin potatoes, you don't have to take the skin out if you don't want to. You can leave the skin in, and you can eat it like as is. Or like, if you do want to take the skin out, you can peel it at first, or you can just like pick the skin out once you mash them. It's pretty easy and simple. It's pretty easy and simple. See, they're all mashed up. It's all mashed up. Yes, y'all, this is gonna be good. Then I'm going to, I'm gonna leave my skin in mine. I'm gonna leave my red skin in my potatoes. Yep, and then I'm going to pour some milk. I have some Almond Breeze. We drink almond milk because my son is lactose intolerant. So I'm going to pour some milk in here. You don't want to pour too much milk, just enough. See, I'm going to drop some, now I'm going to use this for the asparagus, because I'm going to need a little more butter than that. This is a half stick of butter. I just cut it into piece. I'm gonna get another. I'm gonna get some more too, because that's not gonna be enough butter. All right, so we got the butter in here. Then we want to do a little pepper. Add some pepper in there. We're gonna add some salt in there. I don't really like doing too much like with the salt, so I hate over seasoning my food. I'd rather under season, so that way if it's not enough, you can just always add more. So I always start off with like a little pinch. But yeah, I'm gonna put a little more salt. And we're gonna mix it up. Get that all mixed up together. It smells good already. And then another thing we're gonna do, y'all. Another thing we're gonna do is add some sour cream. The sour cream is gonna give it that it's gonna give it that rich and creamy taste. Put some sour cream up in there, and it's gonna help it blend in more as well. And I'm gonna turn the camera around for you all too, so you can have a better look. Okay, y'all, so this is how it's looking from this point of view. Because I know sometimes the front camera can give a different appearance than the back. But yes, y'all, it's good, it's smashed, it's blended in well. Nice and thick.
My name's Corey Convertito. I'm the curator here at the Key West Art and Historical Society, home of Robert the Doll. For the 20 years plus that Robert's lived here, he has really had a big effect on people. People losing jobs and relationships breaking up. Death in the family, there have been dead pets. Robert has been affecting people's lives for decades.
No. No. Oh. Is this Robert the Doll?
It is Robert the Doll.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy cow. This is the most haunted doll in the world. Is it true that Robert the Doll actually inspired the movie's Child's Play? He is the real Chucky. Is this true?
Their stories are quite eerily similar.
Can you give me a second?
Yeah, no, take your time.
I'm seriously
take your
like,
time. Take your time.
Do people get anxiety
Absolutely, absolutely.
How did he get the reputation that he has now of being haunted?
He belonged to a boy from Key West. His name was Robert Eugene Otto. For Robert's 4th birthday, Robert the boy's mother bought Robert the doll and brought him back. The boy named him for himself. He started going by his middle name, Eugene, instead of Robert, to differentiate between the two.
Okay.
They were inseparable. He would take Robert the doll everywhere with him. Anything bad or naughty that the boy did, he blamed on Robert the doll. Eugene would talk to Robert as he was, alive.
All kids talk to dolls, you know, but...
As a teenager, I think those things start falling away.
Oh, so he
He's not a 4-year-old boy anymore talking to a doll. He's
So
now
Gene
a teenager.
was still talking to Robert as a living person well into teenage years.
Absolutely.
That's
and
strange.
beyond. After he was married, he still would talk to Robert in the first person.
Can I help you, Theodore?
It's for you, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Theodore.
Nice to meet you, Theodore.
Hi.
Corey.
Hello.
Theodore, don't... What Theodore just did is very serious, correct?
I think, to me, it was slightly disrespectful. I don't know how Robert saw that, running off like that instead of taking the time to try to understand and just be afraid and leave.
Can we check on him?
I would suggest.
Hang on one second, please. You okay? Okay, but what I need you to do is go back out there and issue an apology, not to her, to Robert, to the doll.
Corey firmly believes that if Theodore doesn't make this apology to Robert, something very bad will happen to him.
Robert, I'm really sorry. I meant no harm.
It's good. Thank you, Theodore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. When I turned and saw it, because I hadn't seen it before, and that really freaked me out, and I went back in the room there, and then I started coughing. With Robert, maybe put a curse on me or whatever, but it was a very freaky experience.
Okay, y'all. So now for last, we're gonna do the asparagus. Now that the potatoes are done, and the salmon is done as well too. I'm gonna show y'all that once I get done making the asparagus. So I'm just gonna put a little butter on the pan. You can use some oil as well if that's something that you prefer. Either or do. I'm not gonna make all the asparagus because only my son eats the asparagus. My daughter, she doesn't really like to eat asparagus. But yeah, so I don't know if you all heard about the story of the Annabelle doll being on tour. I can throw a clip of that in here as well to give you all a backstory on that. So yeah, the guy who is a paranormal expert, he's been going on tour with Annabelle the doll. The original caregivers of Annabelle. The original caregivers of Annabelle, they advised they advised for Annabelle to never be taken out of her cage, and they took her out of the box, the cage, container, whatever it is that was contained and whatever needed to be contained. They took Annabelle out and decided it was a good idea to take Annabelle on tour. And once they took Annabelle on tour, like after the tour was, people had different experiences, like crazy experiences with the doll. You guys can check that out as well. Like people who didn't believe in like the supernatural and stuff like that, they became believers that day. Let's just say that. And you all can check that out on YouTube. They have videos of that as well. So yeah, so he took the doll around to different places. It was a conspiracy theory going on. In New Orleans, a house was set on fire. I looked into the video a little bit. It was a mansion that was owned by a slave owner, and a lot of things happened to black people in that house. So a lot of people felt like that was, you know, Annabelle and the ancestors. You know, it was a whole big little ordeal, but it was no probable cause to why the house burnt down. It just mysteriously burnt down, and just so happened to be when Annabelle was in town. So after the tour or whatever, once the tour was over, the man ended up dying. The man who is an expert, the man who is the paranormal expert, he ended up dying. And that was just like kind of weird to me, you know, because it wasn't any probable cause for his death. Like, the man was doing fine. I think his name was Dan, if I'm not mistaken. But he was doing fine, you know, during the tour and throughout, you know, throughout the tour and during the beginning of the tour, like, and he died from a heart attack. So I just feel like, don't play with those type of things, you know what I'm saying? Whether you believe in it, that has nothing to do with what's real, what's not real. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual world is a whole different type of world. It's a whole different ball game, and you just do not want to indulge or you know, fuck around and find out, because I definitely found out. And you know, I just wanted to share this story with you all because it is it's around Halloween time. So you guys comment down below and tell me I just wanted to share this story with you all because it's around Halloween time, and I never really shared this story before, and I thought about it once I seen the news about the man who had died. And once I seen the news about the doll Annabelle being on tour, like, I really hadn't even thought about the situation like recently, because like I said, it was like 6 years ago. So I don't know. You all comment down below and you tell me, like, the Robert doll is still available to be seen. Like, you all can still go and you know, visit the doll. I wouldn't advise that you all take any pictures of the doll. And yeah, you all tell me, is that something that you all would be willing to do? Would you go to Key West to see Robert the doll, or would you be one of the few to take a tour with Annabelle the doll? I mean, yeah, like, would you all have went on tour with Annabelle the doll? Like, I feel like Annabelle movie scared me enough, so I wouldn't have even considered anything like that. Like, you just don't play around with Annabelle. But, you know, I never heard of Robert, so I just, you know, curiosity kills the cat. So, yes, I'm gonna be right back once I finish this asparagus, so I can show you all the salmon and the way I plate this dinner. Oh, that was some salt that I was using. And I'm also going to use a little black pepper for my asparagus. It doesn't take much, or it doesn't take long. Just let it come to a little grill. And just season it, have its flavor and its taste. A lot of people also put their asparagus inside of the oven and bake it as well. I just like to I like to grill mine in a skillet. I feel like it's a better taste. It's the salmon, y'all. The honey, lemon, and then you can, if you all like gravy, you can use the juices from the salmon as a gravy. It's really good. But get into it. Everybody loves my salmon. I have the honey and the lemon. It just give it the sweet and pop, the sour pop. Alright guys, this is the platings. I have my salmon, honey and lemon glazed salmon, I have my mashed potatoes, I have my asparagus, and I have a bread roll on the side to top it off. And I'm probably gonna drink it with some fruit berry punch. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. If you'd like to see more videos and content of me cooking, comment down below and let me know. Make sure you all like and subscribe to the video. It only takes a second to do that, and it'll help me take my channel a long way. So thank you all again, and I'll see you next time.
This shit too decent. Scale of 1 to 10, she a 10 piece. Usually I'm the one with the groovies. Shorty so bad.